Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pin you and pin me. We'll pin us both, and it'll be fun. And then we're going to let people in, and it'll be like United Front. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Welcome. This is so nice. Welcome, everybody. This is, I think, one of our very first Zive online events. It's so beautiful letting people in. Welcome and welcome and welcome. I am so excited to be here. There are many people that are a part of Zive that are here with us. If you don't know me, my name is Mara McCann. I'm the founder of Zive Media. I'm here with Esma Chumke. She's one of our creators in our creator studio. And so I wanted to kind of first just give a warm welcome and let you know a little bit about what Zive is, what we're doing. And then Esma is going to speak more about why she's here and what we're going to get to watch tonight. But really, for those of you that don't know me, I wear half of my life in the entertainment world and half in the tech world. I advise a lot of companies. I'm also an actress and producer, making feature films. And so Zive really is about having a space for voice and in our voices. I've always felt a little bit like a misfit and a little bit like there weren't places for my voice to be heard. And so I think this has kind of been a lifelong journey for me from even when I was in college with an indie girl rock band, which a lot of you guys, as I don't know about, that played at all the in the festivals, and until now really understanding like, hey, I want to have a place and a voice in media, and that matters to me. I think we could be doing a better job than what I see a lot of times online. And so I kind of took the initiative. And then many of you here have been with me for a year or 2 years, and some of them are you are brand new. I'm gonna mute people. There we go. But I did kind of want to just welcome you into the conversation with us. We are a media and talent incubator. We have a media lab with a lot of our creators here. We're producing podcasts, blogs, and feature films. And then I'm also building out the Zive network. So some of you know me from my filmmaking community and really trying to merge these worlds together because I really believe that, together, that's how we get strong. Together is how you create community, and together we can have a voice. And nothing is fun solo, and it just doesn't work in the entertainment business. Like you just can't go it alone. And so my idea and my intention really was like, well, if we get together and we use the power of a community, we can have a voice, have less isolation, and also find moments of just finding connection. That's what we say at Zive. It's we connect intuition to action, and that's what's important to me. So I kind of want to get started here a little bit, Esma, and maybe you can kind of paint a picture for people here that maybe don't know Zive, some of the other creators here that, are new, about how you came to Zive, what your intention was, and a little bit about the journey behind this podcast. I know people would be very excited to know.
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited for us to watch this together. It's kind of all happening, so it's super exciting. My name's Esma, like Mara introduced me, and I was an intern last year, and then I went away, and then I kind of had this idea, and I was like, oh, I know somebody who could probably help me execute it. And so then I came back to Mara, and there's this book that a friend of mine gave me and was like, you have to read this. And I did like 2 years later, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about this. And I think like the best format was we ended up discussing was a podcast. And so that's how this is happening and how this is coming together. And it's really exciting. And nobody really talks about female friendship. So to actually like, discuss it and try to come up with conclusions and just like, I don't know, thought provoking questions. I talk about things like this with my friends all the time. So I just thought it would be amazing to capture. And yeah, today's episode is going to be talking about intimacy and what that is in friendships. And I mean, I think even any type of relationship in general, I think we have a hard time putting in definition to intimacy. So I just think it'll be fun to listen and probably discuss after. Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for showing.
Can you talk a little bit? It's interesting this book Asma brought because we've been talking about your voice really, and like what you'd said, oh, I've been writing a lot and writing poetry, and I was like, oh, okay, let's figure out for me, when creators come to Zive, it's always about like, what's the best way to share your voice? What is the best way? Um, it's always my own personal journey too. Like for me, actress and then writing, and then I also make music, and then understanding myself now as a producer, which gives me the most agency ever, is actually understanding like how to produce. But we were talking about different ways, you said, oh, I read this book. And what was interesting about the book though was that it was about why female friendships fall apart. It's called The Friend That Who Got Away. We have no ties to these people. We like them though. It's called The Friend That Got Away. Because I think it would be a nice context for everybody to hear a little bit about, because there's a lot of different chapters. It's basically a book that has lots of short chapters. They're all written by a different author, but it was all about a female friendship that fell apart. Can you speak a little bit about just why don't we like, because this is what I would love to set the stage too, is like, why don't we talk about female friendships? I would love like your perspective on that. And then why don't we talk about friendships that fall apart? Mhm.
Yeah, that's tough. I think friendships are never given a clear direction or explanation or definition of what they really are. So all our expectations are kind of different. And we don't talk about that openly. So I think most of the breakups really fall into the category of like there was a miscommunication, there was a misalignment somewhere along the road, and unfortunately people just didn't talk about it, and so they kind of fell apart or it came out in very aggressive and mean ways. So I just think it's something that's not really spoken about, and it's probably because I know this is gonna sound ooey, but it's probably because women are not as unified because we're not really set up in a world for that to be as easy. So I think it can make things harder when we're surrounded by that. But
So you like the soup?
yeah, I think it would be really important to talk more about why female friendships fall apart. I think also people have experienced like such a different amount of friendship breakups that we don't really talk about. I mean, I think we talk to our new friends about them, and then we don't really understand though fully why. And I think if we all kind of collectively spoke about it more, then we can maybe come to a better like conclusion, I guess. Yeah.
I love, no, I think I really love that, because I think that there is that, like I have a female kind of mentor out here where I live in Massachusetts. And she just looked at me one day, she's about 10-ish years older than me. And she's like, you hold on to your female friends. They're the only thing that are going to get you through. And I was like, oh, duly noted, like moment of pause. And I think that was one of the things that why I really wanted to pursue this with you is in one of our first conversations. You're just like, we elevate, male, female, heterosexual relationships. And then after that, it's just any sexual relationship. And then, and it was really powerful because as I've been growing as an entrepreneur in business, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It's not for everybody. It's not for all people. But it's really having like a close knit circle of people and community that can get you through, and so I feel like at Dive too, I very much want to have a voice of the things that we know that are always happening, but nobody talks about. Has always been something that bothers me in life. It's like, we know this thing is happening, like this is really, here and with us, but we're not communicating it, and I want that kind of world. So it's definitely a provocative book. We've all read it, of really seeing like, oh wow, that one fell apart because of jealousy or because of money, or you outgrow each other, all these different worlds. In the episode that you guys are about to see, so basically it's a 30-minute episode, so you guys can kind of sit, grab something to drink. I think our team did a great job. I'm biased. And then after that, Esma's going to do a Q&A with Olivia, who's here, who's part of our social media team, just to ask kind of, questions from Esma. But can you set up everybody here a little bit of just, what this episode is about, some of the core things before we get started? Mhm.
Yes, of course. Okay, so I did this episode with my high school friend Deja, who is a very free, open-minded person, very liberated in terms of like definitions to friendships and relationships. So I feel like she's such a dynamic person, and I thought this episode would be perfect. And we kind of talk about two chapters in the book, which are a little different, but I think the main purpose of them is like intimacy, most definitely, and also what friendship means. And both these people wrote friendship in a way that is open-minded. There are no limits, no expectations, no definitions. And I think trying to like compound all of that in 30 minutes is not easy, but I think we kind of tried to cover as many questions as we had and what we thought about it and how we apply those elements to our lives. And yeah, it was really interesting, and I hope you guys get something out of it.
That's so nice. Yeah, that was what when we decided on this one, it was really this idea of what is intimacy? Because I definitely have friends that are like, they're kindred spirits, like I wouldn't make it through days, and I think my sister's even here. So thank God for my sister. Like none of us would be here if it wasn't for my sister. Like she's the one that, every weekend gets that, there's been times where I'm like, I want to express like how much I care about this person and what that means. And it's been difficult to find words. So I think that it'll be really, really lovely. So afterwards we'll do a Q&A. And then too, if you're new to Zive, if you haven't been to one of our events and you're curious, we have a great blog site. I'll be putting these links in the chat at the end. So, if you want to write something for us, you can write for our writers room. Even if you don't have time to devote to coming every week, if you just get an idea, if you hear something tonight that inspires you to write something, or if you want to make a piece of content, and very findable and very accessible. This is really about helping each other elevate voices. So we made a great trailer. Anna can't be here because she's traveling. So I'm going to show a little bit of the trailer because it's really, really nice. And then I'll go ahead and show the episode. It's about 30 minutes and then we'll come back. So excited. I feel like we need to give you a round of applause from the beginning because you were very brave. And I think that a lot of our people at Zive, I say that I ask more than most places. I ask everybody to share their voice, and I don't think that there's anything harder in this world that we live in than sharing your voice, and I know that. So thank you from the start, and a big round of applause from the start. And I am going to share my screen now. Here, I'm gonna put you in gallery. I'm gonna share a trailer, and then we'll see the actual episode. One moment. I'm gonna present this and then
Hello
share.
everyone,
Oops,
my name is Ask
you guys can't
It's
see it
been
yet.
a couple of years.
Wait, let me do this way. I'm going to share my screen first and then everybody will get to see it. And I'm going to share the sound. Brilliant. And then we'll do present.
Hello everyone, my name is Esma Chemke and I'm an artist living in New York City. I've been here a couple of years. It's incredible to see how the city changes you and moves you. So many incredible artists here, and of course everybody kind of wants to make a difference, and I would love to be a part of that. I wanted to do this podcast because I had this book laying around in my house who I don't even know who gave it to me, but it's super insightful and it covers a lot of themes in female friendships and why they end and blow up, and I thought that that's a space that hasn't really been conquered yet, and I would love to do something with it. I want to be able to help cultivate conversations surrounding taboo subjects in friendships, and I think it's really important to create that space. So I'm really excited to learn something about myself, about my friendships, about possible future friendships, and how to navigate those things in a healthy and decisive manner. And so I'm hopeful that anybody else listening and tuning in will also gain perspective. Really excited for you guys to be able to meet my friends. They're also different and amazing, have different insights, perspectives, and it's going to be so lovely to be able to watch all of that. So yeah, tune in. It's going to be great. So
And now let's watch our episode. One moment, I'm getting my other link here for everybody. Here we go. Everybody can get their tea or their coffee, whatever time zone you're in. I know that we have many different time zones. And here we go. This is the one I want to share. Brilliant. Okay. Oh, I hear some noises. I gotta go mute somebody really quick. Is everybody muted, Winner? Yep. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you. All right, share this one. And I'm gonna blow up the big screen and set back and in.
hi everyone, welcome to Ties Between Us, a podcast about female friendships. Today I'm here with my friend Deja, and I am your host, Esma. And we're going to be talking about the free-flowing concept of friendship and how some people don't have certain definitions or concepts or ideas of that. And yeah, we're going to go over 2 chapters that discuss two different types of ideals in friendships, and we're just gonna give some of our thoughts. And yeah, Deja is my high school friend. We met when we were a little younger, but we didn't really talk.
15?
To each other. Yes. But we've known each other since middle school.
Yes.
However, we did not speak until high school.
No, and I don't remember how we met, actually.
Yes.
I remember us walking the track during PE.
Definitely PE, yes.
And you said something that was so funny. I don't remember. I think you talked to me first.
I might have. I don't know. I didn't really talk to anyone in high school, so
I don't know why you talked to me, though.
Because it was the energy.
I don't know. It was just.
The energy.
Are you too cool, Esma?
No, opposite. I was quiet.
We were both very quiet.
Very quiet.
Like, I didn't talk to anybody either.
No, I didn't like any of them.
I didn't like
I went to
anyone.
School with.
But I liked you immediately.
I liked you too, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, that's not weird.
No, it's
that's
good.
That's like the universe bringing us together.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And then 2 years later, she took care of my cat while we went on
I
a road
did.
trip. And it was lovely and very kind of you.
I miss that cat.
I missed that cat too.
Yeah.
You ran away. No, he didn't run away. He was out in the rain and he did not come home, but he's not
That's a great
dead.
cat.
Great, the best cat ever. Somebody took him. So he's lovely. He's not dead at all. Okay, so moving on. So the first chapter is called Dangerous. It's about a lady who has lots of sex with her friends and different types of friends, and none of them are supposed to be committal. But obviously that gets messy. But in her mind, she's very what is the word when you categorize everything in your
Rational?
brain? No, compartmentalized.
Okay.
Her brain. That's how she functions. And it's easy for her to put things in categories and leave them there without blurred lines. But it's interesting because some relationships turn into that and some don't, and she's learned a lot on her way. So I kind of just wanted to ask questions regarding this chapter. So my first one is, have you ever slept with a friend or friends? And what were the consequences?
I have slept with one friend
Just one, okay.
recently. What were the consequences? It's a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
But I feel like an innocent awkwardness.
Okay, so
Not anything that has any weight or stress behind it.
And it's not destructive.
It's not destructive. I think it's natural to have a little bit of anxiety after something
Yes.
like that,
Yes,
but
of
it's
course.
not anything bad.
Okay.
I almost welcome it because I haven't felt it before.
Wow, okay. That's,
So I guess that would be the consequence.
but that's
that.
not really a
I guess it's not a consequence at all.
No, that's really good.
Because I'm enjoying it. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying feeling it.
Yes.
The consequence. Well,
But I also think that your situation is kind of special. I think lots of people get super messy with their friendships.
Yeah,
And
they do.
I think it's nice that you have find yourself a situation that's good. It
it's
doesn't
good.
seem like there's many consequences, besides the fact that they live together.
We do live together in the same room.
Oh.
We share a room. So maybe the consequence of that is that there's not really a space to have your feelings to yourself. They're out in the open all the time. So that's something that I've had to, as a previously, I've had a lot of solitude in my life, and now I'm in a room with somebody that I did sleep with. That's interesting. But it's fun. So
It's fun.
it's fun.
Okay, so
Yes.
so far no consequences.
So far.
Okay. That's good. That's lovely.
But it's suspicious, no? I don't know.
It is suspicious.
I'm down for the ride.
Have you ever had friends that you've hooked up with, maybe not necessarily had sex with or slept with? I don't even know if I could say have sex. Not necessarily that you have slept
Okay.
with, but just hooked up or done stuff with. Has that ever blurred lines? No.
I did have a very extremely homoerotic friendship, as every young lesbian does. And that definitely blew up entirely in my face.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I yeah.
The lines completely blurred all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that, I guess.
Yes.
The two polar opposites.
Yes.
So this Dorothy, this is the
Mhm.
writer and the author of this chapter. She describes the sex or any like intimate relationship she's had with her friends as intimacy, not necessarily
Okay.
sexual. And then when she reminisces on all these old, relationships and flings and everything that came with it,
she doesn't really think about any of the physical things. She thinks about all the intimate, emotional things that she's connected to with them. Very lesbian of her.
Yes, very.
As she is. So I guess I wanted to ask, what does intimacy mean to you? And you can answer that from, if you'd like, both a romantic and a friendship standpoint, and maybe there's no difference. Maybe it's the same.
To me, there's not necessarily a difference. I think intimacy is wanting to know everything you can about this person, but accepting the fact that you never will.
Really? You don't think you can ever fully know someone?
I don't think you can ever fully know someone, because I think we're all constantly changing.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe you can know 98%, 99%, but
There's always going to be a chance.
you want to continually get to know this person
Yeah.
for however long they're in your life.
Yeah.
That, to me, is intimacy.
Oh, that's beautiful, baby.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
And you're right, that does apply to romantic and friendship.
Yes.
Relations. Wow, that's gorgeous.
What about for you?
What does intimacy mean?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, this is like a big thing that I've noticed, is when my body is not tense and I'm like fully relaxed around someone, I'm like, oh, I feel like intimate. I feel connected. I feel like
that.
and my body tells me everything. I'm such a, like, I didn't realize how important body and senses are in any type of situation. But recently this year I've been paying extra attention, and like my body is just a little bit like, or like too like, you know, I'm like, oh, something's wrong. I'm like, I don't like this person for some reason, or I don't feel fully comfortable. And then if you don't feel fully comfortable, or at least comfortable enough, it's kind of hard to be intimate in any.
That's true. So you're just trusting your gut, really.
Yeah, I think
More.
so. But that's honestly a very good question. I don't even know what trusting your gut means. I mean, I'm learning. I feel like I've been learning this past year, 2023. But there's this like huge question of what is your gut feeling, and then what is anxiety.
That's true.
But somebody told me, and I think they might be right, that it's the same thing. Because even if it's your anxiety, it's telling you that something is wrong. So even if you're not necessarily like in the right, like you might assume or be paranoid that somebody hates you, or somebody like is angry at you about something, even if it's not true, something's being triggered. And so you can like figure out, okay, why do I feel this way? Regardless, it's like some soul searching that you gotta pin down, but that's enough to know that something is wrong. So maybe even if, you know,
I mean, and sometimes it could be because something is wrong because you've never felt it before.
So you
should still go for it.
Yes. Well, yeah, I know. Deciphering between those two is probably
tricky.
A lot of journaling.
That's tricky.
That's a whole other thing. But I think for now I've come to a point where I'm not gonna question if it's anxiety or gut feeling if it just doesn't feel good. For now, it just doesn't feel good. I feel like until I get a clearer understanding.
I think still in the opposite direction. If it does feel good, it just feels good.
That's
you know.
Yeah. If you feel super comfortable around somebody and you're just not sure why, don't question it.
You just go for it.
Just be comfortable.
You just go for it,
Yeah.
even if they're just a friend.
Okay. Do you think? I guess the idea of just being intimate with friends and that being normalized, because it's not a normalized thing, like in how we live and function. Do you think it should be more normalized? Do you think it's like okay? Do you think if everybody was doing that it would be an issue, or do you, I guess, subscribe to this ideal or not?
I think that it's okay as long as you accept the fact that you might get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, just like in every other.
You just have to be okay with the outcome of not feeling good after this, or if you're distant after, or you have to be okay with the prospect of falling in love with this person. You never know what could happen, so.
And then possibly not
liking you either. You have to be open to all of it.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I think it's okay as long as you're fully accepting of that fact.
Right.
Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then they don't realize when it actually happens what that means.
So then what does that tie into what we were just talking about? If it feels good, just go with it. So then where is the line between, if it feels good, go for it, but also, this might not actually be a good idea?
I do things all the time where I know that there's a huge possibility it's not going to be okay in like 3 months. And I do it anyway because I think it's better to have felt it than to not feel anything at all.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
as someone who didn't feel anything for a long time,
Yeah.
I just want to feel all of it.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I was just very to myself as a child. I was not comfortable in my environment for a very long time in my life. And now that I'm out there in the world, I just want to feel everything and have every experience,
Yeah.
even if it hurts me.
Yeah, I think that's like the story of a sheltered child.
I was.
For sure.
I mean, I was an only child for like 9 years.
Yeah.
So I was very to myself. I know myself very well. But now I want to know other people.
Yeah.
And I want to know everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Damn. Do I think it's a good idea? I don't know if I subscribe to this because I think it would be way too intense for me. I think I already experienced super intense emotions. And already doing and like being, you know, like involved with somebody, all that, just a random person, that already is enough. You put a friendship in that, and that's like terrifying because then you can lose not only like a romantic prospect,
That's
but
true.
a friend.
the lines are blurred.
The lines are blurred, but you know, I say all that, and I would do the same thing that you would.
I mean,
if it happened, it happened. If I was like,
if the lines are blurred, and that does make me anxious.
yes,
But
you're still gonna do it.
I couldn't pull myself away from a good feeling.
I know it's bad,
Maybe that's a bad thing, but
but that's
it's
who
what
we
it
are.
is. That's who I am. That's who we are.
Yeah,
So,
that's who we are.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's who we are.
It really is. It really is.
So the lesson is go fuck all your friends.
Exactly.
No,
yes.
obviously.
Well,
just kidding.
Well,
No.
I don't know.
Have you fallen in love with a friend, and how did it change your dynamic?
Whew. Well, as I said before, that very homoerotic friendship with my close friend from middle school. We knew each other from middle school up until after high school. I almost fell in love with her. I think that I could have gotten there, but we didn't give ourselves a chance. And it changed the dynamic to this day. I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but we had a few confrontations, and now we're where we're at. I mean, we don't really talk anymore, and I've had to come to terms with that. I still care for her very much, as she does for me, but we will never be as close as we were.
Yes, and that is the risk, I think.
That's okay.
That is
It's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Have
mean, I
you?
guess it's. Oh, hold on. I guess to your point, I guess that's better than losing the friendship completely, because I think some people.
It hurt for a while, and for a while I was grappling with the fact that would I rather have just lost it?
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah, that's a.
Because still having that person in your life, it's a feeling of what if. And I'll always have that feeling of what if, as she probably does as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Absolutely not.
I'm happy that I even had a chance to have that feeling, because some people never feel that ever.
Yeah. Scary, actually, but yeah, that is terrifying. No, I mean, I've had a friend have a thing for me.
Oh.
And I kind of went along with it because I was like, oh, why not? Let's see where this goes. And I wasn't that close as a friend, so it wasn't too much of a risk. But he ended up kissing my best friend.
Oh.
To be fair, we were like 15, 14,
Oh.
so we were
Okay.
children, and so I've never fallen in love with a friend, but you know, a couple close, just intense, so to speak, interactions, but fleetingly, like
Okay.
just moved on. I find it hard actually to see a friend in a romantic light after I become friends with them.
Really?
Yes, because if I become friends with you and in the midst of becoming friends with you, I don't already have feelings for you, I don't think it's ever gonna come up. That's just been how I am. If I'm not immediately like attracted to somebody in the first 20 minutes, I don't think, and we're gonna be friends, I don't think it can grow from that. That's just
Really?
me.
I feel like I might have the opposite problem.
No, I'm not I'm not like that.
That's not good for me. I feel like within the first time, like the first minute of meeting someone, I can determine if I'm like, attracted to them or not.
Yes.
And then even if we become friends, that never goes away. Never.
Okay. Yeah.
I just feel like I'm still always going to be attracted to them.
No, but I'm with you. Like, if I'm attracted
Which is why maybe I'd be so open to hooking up with a lot of my friends. But,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. I guess I'm just not attracted to my friends then.
I don't know.
We were at a
No, it's
concert
not even
and
that.
I
It's
was in
for
a
me.
meeting.
It's just like if I become close enough to somebody and it's been a friendship for
it's
so
just been a
long.
friendship. You don't think that other feelings will never creep in there? Or like that you want to.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be like, nope, we're just friends. But it hasn't like happened for me to be like, oh, I want this. If it does, then I would. I think. No, I think I would be too scared. I'd wait
Really?
for them to make the move. Yeah, because I'm not used to that. That's not my. I don't do that. So if like I feel so overwhelmed that I'm like, no, I want to explore this. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe I would, because I'd be so. I don't know.
I feel like that's going to be a problem in my future.
You're just gonna hook up with all your friends.
Wait, a lot of.
So hold on. Pause. Okay, what about if you're married? Would you still hook up with friends?
No.
Okay. After that, then it's like this is
Yeah.
over. Okay.
Because once I do like someone a lot, it's only that person.
You're like fixated.
Yeah,
on
I'm very
yes,
fixated
I'm like
on
that
person.
too.
Like I want to know everything
Yeah.
about you. I only want to be around you. Like
Yeah.
it's very intense. Almost like not maybe too intense, but
No, I mean, no, so that's love, no? Or
to
should
some
be
people,
intense?
yeah.
That's true to some people. Some
Some
people
people don't like
think,
that.
no, some people think that's like just obsession. How do you, or how have you moved on from a friend you've had feelings for?
I don't think I ever did.
I knew you were gonna say that. I just knew you.
I
I just
never
know you
did.
too well.
I
yeah,
haven't.
yeah. I know.
Like I said before, it's always going to be a part of my story. Like this is the first person that I almost think I could have loved. Like actually.
Yeah. Also, the
So-
idea of could have loved.
Could have loved. And it's that feeling of what if that will always be there. Always. And even still, to this day, I'm like, maybe. Like I would.
But does it get easier, like not thinking about them or not placing them as like this is the person I want to be with?
Instead of anger, it's like a dull, like sadness that you have in the middle of summer. Like summer's ending, like that feeling.
Yeah.
Like, oh
that's
man,
funny.
summer's ending. That feeling
That's
that I
such
have
a specific feeling
for this
too.
person.
Oh my
And every once in a while you think about that, like, oh man, like, I wish, or I would have, or it's okay. To this day. I never have. I never will.
You don't think you'll ever come to peace?
I have peace with it. But I don't think I'll ever be over it.
Okay. Shit. Huh.
I'm not angry anymore. I don't think about it every day. But I'll never forget.
Yeah, of course not. I don't think you can ever forget things like that.
And I still care for her so much because she is a friend.
Right.
So it's always going to be that feeling of what if.
Okay. My idea of like moving on from a friend is doing the most you can to be able to see other people or want to see other people or not be so like obsessed with this person. I agree with you. I don't think
That definitely helps.
you ever fully move on, but that's
Yeah.
the closest.
That's
to
the
moving
closest you
on.
can get to
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever had to necessarily experience this, but I would probably say distance.
Distance helps as well. Like we are across the country from each other now.
Yeah, you can't really do much with that.
Couldn't even obsess over it if I wanted to. Because I can't see her.
And time,
And time. Yeah, time definitely helps.
I think.
That's the main thing.
Oh, and I mean, some people don't do this, but I have to talk about something like 1,000 times for me to get over it. And I will say it over
Like,
and
I'll-
over. Yes,
Yeah,
I have to talk
yeah.
to a friend or like a therapist maybe, or I mean, even talking to myself, like literally recording myself and be like, oh.
I've never tried that before.
Honestly, it's so helpful. It's so helpful. And I tried it only
Yeah.
like 2 months ago for the first time, and I was like, this is actually really nice. But just, I have to say it out loud. Otherwise, it's like stored in here, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
That's what kept me from getting over it as much as I could for a while, because I didn't tell anyone about it, how actually I felt about it. But maybe that's because I didn't know how strongly I felt about it at the time.
Yeah.
It's just with time I've realized how much that moment that we had meant to me.
Yeah.
So time definitely does help, because now I've come to peace with it and I can articulate it better.
Yeah, of course.
I guess.
Of course, yes. But do you
Yeah.
feel like you have felt all your emotions around it?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been up and down and in between it. I felt everything that I could feel about it.
I've done in between it.
Like, seriously.
But you know, the idea of friends to lovers is such a trope that I feel like so many of my friends also believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, besides you, and I don't know, I find it fascinating.
I think-
for some reason I don't fully. I get it. Of course,
I
it's
get
like
it. You know
cute,
what?
You know this person, but I don't know, to see them all of a
It's
sudden
not very.
sexualized-
It's not very interesting to read Friends to Lovers, in my opinion. But I think it's very exciting to live it.
Yeah, but like, where does that spark come from? Or you're saying it was always there.
It's
but what
always-
if I don't have a spark? Then it's just never gonna
I just feel
happen.
like I know from the beginning immediately
If you're attracted to them.
if I'm attracted to them and if something's gonna happen, and I weigh the percentages of,
Oh,
is this gonna happen or not? Like 30% yes,
40%. Or I can't do
Seven?
that.
70.
Thank you so
No.
much, Deja. We went to high school. We did, because we were there together.
Yes.
Yes, we know math. Okay.
Yes. Mm.
Hmm.
And it changes
Mm-hmm.
until it happens or
Of
doesn't
course.
happen.
Of course.
So
Of course.
yeah.
So no,
I know immediately. And with the situation I'm in now, I knew immediately and I told you. I said, oh, there's like a 60% chance that it's not gonna happen. And it did.
And I did not think she was gonna call me and be like, oh my god, it's a wrap. I was like, bro, are you serious?
Because it kept increasing slowly and I just
You got lost in sauce.
eventually you can't ignore what you feel.
No,
And you can't
especially when
hold yourself
they're.
back because you're traumatized from what happened before.
Oh yeah.
So
Especially when they live like,
especially when they
2 feet away
live
from
2
you.
feet away from you. You can't ignore it then. So
My limitations, that's hard. I think,
yeah.
I don't know. I think because I'm not used to the idea of like friends to lovers, if it happened, I think it would be like a system shock for me, and I think I would
Did you just
not
shut
know
it
what to
down
do.
immediately, you think?
I think I would try to shut it down, and then if that doesn't work, I will just be like, I would weigh it out, like if it's worth it, I guess.
Yeah.
If they're a close friend, I don't think it would be worth it. But I'm sure it would be better and more fun. But I don't think it would be worth it.
But I just feel like
I digress.
if it's like, I don't know.
It
Because
depends.
it's
It depends.
That takes both people being open to the possibility of a relationship or something deeper at the same time, and that's rare.
Oh, that's really nice. That's beautifully put.
People usually don't want to give themselves completely up to something. I've
Yeah.
noticed,
Yes, of course.
and
Especially now.
it holds them back, which is okay. That's a natural feeling,
Yeah.
the fear
Yes.
of what's to come. But that's the issue. I feel like
Yeah.
of progressing to something else.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if they want it, they won't let themselves have it.
That's actually really
So,
true. And
I
honestly,
just-
that's kind of a best case scenario to fall in love with like your best friend.
It is if everything works out.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't mean it's flowers every day.
No,
It's
No.
it's okay, and it's the best person. Like you can't see yourself living without. It's like your brother, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's like your sibling.
You're.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the intimacy of like they know you and you know them. Because
Yeah.
truly only your family like knows you at your worst and your best, and they've
Yeah.
seen everything in between. And it's like somebody else also having a.
It's
glimpse
a
of that.
potential new family member.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Isn't that wild?
It is.
It's insane.
That's
It is
wild.
insane. Oh my god.
Just like you might get frustrated with your family.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
mean,
Yes. Yes.
It's a part of life.
Yeah, and I think that's
Not easy.
also why the closer you get with somebody, the more maybe like problems you'll have, because you're not so guarded in how you speak or what you say. You're just like completely there, and sometimes that's not really compatible because you'll say some shit that's
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I've definitely had that experience, and it feels so good though to be that close to somebody, to a friend like that. It feels
It does.
even in a non-romantic sense, just like intimate. It's one of the best feelings ever.
It really is.
But
it
if you
is.
don't know how to go about it, it can definitely complicate things. Yeah, and stir up some like childhood shit.
Oh,
that you're like,
yeah.
I don't want to
Oh,
feel
yeah.
this right now. And then to the point where like you can push away that person, and then you're just not on each other's lives because you couldn't deal with your own like hurt stuff.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I wasn't even the
heartbreaking.
initiator.
She came on to you.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like,
My little baby gay self. Well, okay.
I guess.
I guess.
Oh, I think I have one more question that I just kind of came up with. I think actually considering what we were just talking about, how do you create intimacy with friends in a non-romantic way that still fosters that love and connection but isn't necessarily overstepping boundaries that you normally maybe would with family members? To be honest, I think that that's kind of impossible. I think one goes with the other. So I think you'd kind of both of the people are gonna have to be willing to participate in that kind of dynamic of like sibling relations, of like stepping on each other's toes when you don't necessarily mean to, but also being like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean that. So maybe there's an added layer that goes beyond, like, I think with your siblings, a lot of people don't apologize. They just do some like stupid shit, and then there's no apology or recognition, and that's just like how siblings are. Yeah. But maybe the friend version of that is like that naturally comes with it, but also a recognition afterwards of like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I forget that we are not actually siblings or like family, but it feels like that, and I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to push you away or hurt your feelings or etc. etc. Otherwise, I think family, you know, give or take, of course this is very broad and this does not go across the board, but we have more of a responsibility too. We are tied whether we like it or not. And even though with friendships you can also be tied in that sense, I think we've all been, you know, conditioned as a societal thing that friendships can break away and then you could just go your separate ways and then it never really mattered, so to speak, even though of course we know it does matter. I guess what are your thoughts on that?
Should we ask the question?
Of course
I'm so sorry. I got lost in the sauce.
Yeah, don't worry,
I got lost a little bit.
The question is, how do you maintain that intimacy of that feels like family with a friend without it kind of blowing up?
Fizzling off, or?
I mean, less about fizzling off and more like it turning into something bad. Because when you get that intimate with somebody, you see each other like fully, and sometimes that triggers the other person. And so how do you go about it in a way where you don't hurt each other?
I think you need to approach every interaction with a genuineness and vulnerability.
Yeah.
And being completely open to this person that you're intimate with in a friendship way.
Yes, yeah.
That's basically it. I mean, constantly being genuinely interested in their day and what they have to say, and even if you haven't talked to them, they're here. If you haven't talked to them in a long time, like us, we didn't speak
years
for like 2 years.
Yes.
And not because we fell off or anything.
No.
I don't know. It was just.
Yeah, I just got busy. I moved here. I was in LA.
Yeah.
Like we just were living separate lives.
But I thought about you a lot.
I thought about you too.
And we picked up just right where we left off. It was like nothing happened.
Yeah, we did.
Because I've always been genuinely interested in what you have to say and what you do in your life and who your other friends are and what you're doing next. And I hope it's the same for me.
Likewise. Are you kidding?
So yeah, that's what it is.
That's so cute.
I met you and immediately was like, I really like this girl. I just feel like we're gonna be friends.
And
I don't like anybody.
I don't like anybody.
I just like we're gonna be really close friends for like a long time.
You felt that?
Yeah.
What? That's so. That was your soul talking to you.
And I always felt that, but I don't know what happened.
I just think that like we just had different focuses in life, and that was a while, and that took a lot of time, and then finally it aligned. Like you reached out to me randomly on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh my god, how are you?" And I forgot I had your number. You forgot you had my number.
That's crazy.
And then, and she was like, "I want to see you," blah blah. And I was like, "Oh my god, I want to see you too." But you know, I'm in California, or I'm here from these dates to these dates. And I think you thought I was still in LA.
Yeah,
and then you were like, actually, like I'm moving to New York. I'm not gonna be here those dates. And I was like, shut up. I live in New York.
Yep.
It was perfect. Yeah, we finally aligned. I love that. I love that for us. It was meant to be. It wasn't.
It really was meant to be.
There was no like, oh, I don't know why we didn't talk those years. Like those years clearly were not supposed to be for us to talk.
It was supposed to be now.
Yes, supposed to be now, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
I do agree with you in terms of course, being genuine and authentic and vulnerable. But I honestly, that is so hard to do.
It's very hard. It's not easy.
No, it's so hard.
It's not easy at all.
And I'm trying to wrap my head around why it's very hard to be ourselves. And of course, there's like a general like, oh, you know, everybody feels pressured to like be something else.
I guess it takes
blah, 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 blah.
a while to be comfortable letting someone see all of you.
Yeah.
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 Even the bad parts of you.
Yes, especially the bad parts.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be like to show your good parts, especially the bad parts. Yeah.
I've had a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah. So have I. But interestingly enough, I had more trouble in it in romantic relationships than my friendships. I think it's easier to be more myself in friendships. In romantic relationships, like I don't even do this like consciously. I just like put this wall.
I think I have the
and
opposite.
No way.
Because in romantic relationships, this is me. This is all of me.
Wow, that's beautiful. You don't have a fear of rejection then, clearly.
No, it is what it is. I mean,
that's amazing. I strive to be that.
I don't know if it's good.
No, it is. Are you kidding me?
Is
No,
it good?
of course it's good. Because then you weed out people who are not for you
It
too.
It is what it is. I am who I am.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, it's amazing. That should be the standard. That's literally
Really?
my goal to be. Yes.
I don't know.
No, there's no, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Asia. You weed out through all the people who are not for you. You don't waste your time or energy and then you have more room to give love.
That's
in
true.
a more liberated way that
That's
doesn't
true.
feel like, oh, I can because I'm like hurt or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay, cool. What are our concluding thoughts?
In the end, I think that you should sleep with your friends if you want to. And just deal with the consequences.
Afterwards.
Just deal with it. That's life.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Included. Yep. I think my conclusions are that intimacy can be in friendships and should be encouraged more in friendships. And that I think if you feel strongly enough about someone or something, I think we can sometimes follow our hearts a bit more.
Yes, and if you feel that strongly about something, it will never go away.
Oh,
So,
also that, yes.
I think...
Which I used to not believe, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I used to not believe that at all. Because I have felt very strongly for certain people, and now I just... So maybe it's just a me thing. But
I think it's better to know the answer than to wonder about the answer.
that's true.
So...
That's true. Okay, and that is our conclusion on the first story, Dangerous.
Yay, this is so good. We should give a big round of applause. No, we can all unmute. I'm so proud of everybody. So good. So I'm gonna bring up Olivia and then I'm gonna go find Esma. Wait. I have to go find people in the world. There she is. And I'm gonna let you guys go for it. Maybe Olivia, you can kind of do a debrief and ask Esma some of those lovely questions. I'm going to disappear.
Yeah, of course. So, hello and welcome to the post listening party talkback session. For those who don't know me, I'm Olivia Salisbury. I am the social media and engagement leader for Zive, and I'm going to be your host for this discussion with the host of Ties Between Us, Esma Chimki. So, are you ready to unpack your thoughts and dive into some questions, Esma?
Of course. Hello, Olivia. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so first things first, how do you feel about months of work finally launching with this podcast?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's like a relief and also very satisfactory, I guess. So it's super exciting.
Yeah. So through reading this book and shooting this podcast, do you feel as though your perspective of friendship has changed?
Yes. Yeah. I think there's been lots of overlaps in my recent history of friendships that have kind of happened with the book. So it's kind of been the perfect time to read it. It's funny how things work out that way. And so it's kind of been validating actually, because at first I was like, am I tripping or losing my mind? Or like, do I not know what friendship is? And then I read this book and I'm like, oh my God, nobody knows.
Yeah.
So it's actually very liberating to kind of also not know. But I'm figuring it out, and that's also nice. And I'm learning to like let go of knowing or needing to know all the questions or the answers to the questions. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice knowing that we're all kind of free falling.
Absolutely.
Kind of
yeah,
scary.
it is. Yes. But that means nobody's alone. So it's okay. We can all be scared together.
Yeah. Do you feel like this experience is improving any of your friendships?
Yeah, it is. That's actually funny that you say that. I think so, yeah. I mean, I think I talk to my friends about almost everything and anything, but I think the book sparked a couple new conversations that I've never had. And I think that always enriches any of my friendships. So it's been interesting talking about blurring lines. Like I've never talked about that with a friend before. So to the extent that Deja and I have. And then there's an episode about race, which I speak all the time with my friends about. But this was different because I was asking a friend of mine about her experience growing up with a race, which is something maybe we didn't talk too much about. So I don't know, it is interesting. It's opening things up more, which I really appreciate. And I feel like it's an opportunity to connect deeper with my friends. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So I think recently, especially through these like past 5 years, everybody's gone through a period of like loneliness and isolation. And I'm sure there's going to be listeners who are looking to make new friends. So is there any advice you'd give to someone who's looking to expand their social group or maybe even reignite some things with their old social groups that maybe fell off?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think living in big cities helps a lot, especially New York. I think New York is one of those places that you can just go to a bar or an event and you just talk to somebody and one thing leads to another. But I think in general, we should use the internet to our advantage. I know everybody likes to low-key shit on it, which is like super fair. I do too. But I also think that it helps a lot in like meeting new people and connecting with people that you appreciate and that otherwise you wouldn't have connected with. Like one of my best friends, I know them through Twitter, super random. But we've like been best friends for like 10 years. So I think the internet is really helpful just to find your type of people. And I think it's also good to meet different types of people as well. I think we always want to feel like we're in a community and with people who have similar outlooks of life. And I think that is important. So you can feel like yourself and you can be around those people. But I also think there's a lot of benefit to being around people who are not like you. And I think more of us should most definitely do that. But like I said, big cities, it's kind of easier just to do that. It's simple, even just talking to your neighbors. I know people don't do that anymore, but I think it should come back. Okay. I talk to my neighbors all the time and it's weird. It is really weird at first, but I think you should do it. I think everybody should do it. But I think little acts and gestures like that will also help to like foster long term. Because like you said, we're like lonely and we've gone through a period of time where we don't really know how to talk to people. And so if we normalize small things, it'll be easier to connect on like a deeper level, I think. And then going back to old circles is always kind of complicated because it always depends if something just like fizzed out or if it was like a big thing that happened. But I always think that unless it ended in a very like abusive or toxic way, it never hurts to just reach out. I think we have egos and stuff, but I just do it. Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Esma, in this episode, you explored the fascinating topic of the complexities of intimacy between friends. So what about this topic intrigued you so much? Was it just something you have been thinking about before you had read the book, or was it just when those chapters had popped up?
Definitely mostly the chapters. I think also how she spoke about it was not a way of life that I am familiar with. I think I'm very free flowing myself to the extent that she was. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I didn't even like truly think that people can really operate that way. So it was fascinating to, I don't know, take that in, but also an opportunity to know that my own beliefs are limiting. And sometimes it's okay to also push past that. And not that I want to like, go, hook up with a friend or something, but it's just the concept is it's something that I'm not really used to. So I think that this specific topic was from the book, and I love that. I love that I didn't come up with it because again, it's like teaching me something new. Yeah.
So do you think that listeners' views on relationships in general, whether it be friendship, romantic, familial, or as you guys were talking about in that episode, that like blurred line, you don't really know what you are sort of thing, could be challenged or perceived differently through listening to this podcast?
Yeah, of course. I think listening to two people who love each other a lot talk about something important will always spark some sort of conversation within yourself. Even if you're not necessarily speaking to somebody else, just to feel those and speak about those things with yourself is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are listeners that are going to connect with the themes of this podcast and maybe even gain inspiration and want to make their own podcast. So what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about starting their own podcast?
Oh my God, that's a beautiful question. I think you can ask that to everybody here. We've all been working on it together. I think there's lots that goes into it, but I think the main thing is probably being passionate and caring about what you're speaking about. I mean, that's what podcasts are mostly, right? That's the content. And also, probably over time, there has to be some sort of like, how are we going to go about it in terms of creative direction? Because even with this concept, with the book, we could have went about it in so many different ways. And we spoke about all the ways we could really go with the direction. And so I think figuring that out also took us a while, as Mara could probably tell you. But once you do, I think also sticking to some sort of structure and keeping things flowy and something that's kind of like, okay, this looks like it would be made for this podcast, or like Mara was saying for Zive. And I think keeping that consistency can really help. But it really just starts with like being passionate about something and wanting to speak about something, and then everything else I think can be figured out. But
yeah. Okay, so I think it's time that we do some audience questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand via Zoom and we'll get to your question.
Awesome. Amy has a question. Hey, Amy. It's nice to see you. There you go. Oh, wait, I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Is it your headphones? Can you speak right into your computer? While Amy's doing that, I do want to give a shout. Ashley, do you want to wave at everybody and say hi because you were on the producing team? Okay, Amy, you do that. Ashley's gonna say hi. And Winter was also Winter. You should say hi to everybody. Winter's on the producing team. We've been a couple of months actually. We spent getting the creative down because it was such a. There's so many things like I think Esma like we could talk about. Amy, do you have your audio? Bummer. I know you're gonna have a good comment because you're a filmmaker. Amy's done like 40 features, so Amy's gonna have something. Amy, will you figure it out? I see Jenna's hand. Jenna, do you want to turn your audio on and ask? Yes.
I just wanted to say fantastic job. I have been hearing about this project from Esma for a while. And so it was so exciting to see it come to fruition. And yeah, it was really beautiful. I love the idea that this podcast is sort of like a journey to finding yourself kind of through friendships and this book. So I guess my question really for Esma is, what is the biggest thing that you're hoping to find out about yourself? Is it kind of what you talked about the difference between anxiety and gut, like becoming more decisive, like yeah, what are your hopes for all that this book has taught you and what you'll gain from all the discussions that you have?
Hi, Jenna. Thank you for coming. Jenna's one of my best friends and I love her a lot. That's a lovely question. What am I looking to gain from this? I think I'm looking to gain closer friendships with my friends or closer relationships, but I think you know me so well by asking what you think it will do for me, because you're right. I think I really want to, and this is going to sound super corny, so bear with me, but I think I really want to learn how to be my own best friend, and my closest friend, and what I need and what I want from like a friendship and how I can give that to myself. I think that would be the best thing to come out of this. I think it is happening, so that's good. Yeah.
That's so beautiful, Jenna. Thank you so much for being here and coming to support. We need our rocks. Like my sister came and I was like, I love my sister so much. So I love that question, Jenna. Thank you for asking that. I think because I think that is also part of Zive, is that we have this. That's how I feel about being an artist, right? Is that like our art will take us on a journey, and it is that self-discovery, and along the way we get to affect a lot of people. So but yeah, we will, this is just the first of many episodes. First of many episodes. I see Amy's coming back in to the Zoom. Other questions or other questions for Esma or anybody else at Zive? We have some other amazing people here. Abby, yeah, Abby. So nice to see you.
Yeah, so nice to see you all. And first off, congratulations. The podcast episode was amazing. And I love that it had multiple angles. So like multiple cameras and like the cut jump edits and stuff. It was like, I think it was a really cool combo of like visual and audio. Like the visual was very engaging throughout, which is like probably props to Anna. But I think that's a really cool idea. I love the topic and the way you went about it. And like I know it can be really hard to come off natural when you're talking to like a camera. Obviously, your friend is also there, but great job both of you for like, it really just felt like a conversation between friends and was like super honest and engaging. So my question is, do you foresee most of the episodes being like with a friend or a guest, or will you ever do a solo episode?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't think I've thought about doing a solo episode. But I would love to continue to do these with friends. That's the plan as we finish off. But there is one chapter that is kind of like a random chapter that I'm going to do as an episode by itself, because it's not really one that I can pair with any other chapter. So maybe that one I could just throw up my thoughts. Who knows? But I think for now we're gonna keep it with my lovely, lovely friends. And thank you for all that, Abby. Thank you for coming.
We need our super supporters. We're so lucky at Zive. We have the best of people and the best. And Abby, thank you for taking time out. It's important. We have to show up. We have to show up to each other. I like that idea, Esma, of having some solo ones. That's a good thing for us to think about, some takeaways. Amy, did we get your audio? Oh, we did. I think I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can. Aw, yay.
Yay! Yay! Okay, so what I want to say, this is a great podcast, and about intimacy and friendships that may be sibling-like, become sibling-like. I know that I have bipolar disorder, and I have known my best friend, who's more like a sister, for like 25 years now. But we went through something incredibly traumatic in that first 5 to 10 years, which was me being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And she saw me at my best, at my worst, and there's like no filter. And at that, but I think you're right. You either grow together or you grow apart. You either bring it up when something's wrong, like you do your family or whatever. For us, it's work. Yes, we get into fights. Yes, we get into, but I think the podcast explores the whole spectrum. And I like to say Mara is awesome because creating content like this. In fact, we're creating a spinoff series of the movie, and we're on our way to go forward with that. And this just makes me feel like there's a space for that kind of show, which is about friendship and about different relationships in a different way, in a narrative form. And I feel like you Smart, you and your guest were really natural and really to the point and really open. And I think you did an excellent job. And this podcast has all the potential to be great.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much. It
That's
definitely,
all, really.
no, I'm so glad. No, it means a lot because you've made a lot of, Amy's been a prolific filmmaker. And so it's always nice to have a colleague who's been a prolific filmmaker, like to give some feedback. Belinda had a nice question, then we'll get to Ashley. Wondering why we chose to include video and not just audio. We're doing video because there's actually when we did the stats around Gen Z about watching podcasts, 70% of the folks on data actually watch podcasts. And I find too that I get engaged more sometimes, my attention when I get to watch. And so, but it will be released on both. So we're going to have both. So that way we can have the video plus the audio. But Belinda, I'm looking forward to our next meeting. Ashley, you had your hand up.
I was just wondering, since you are doing this podcast, do you have any advice for how to create good friendships, or at least to seek them out?
Hello, Ashley. Ashley has me with the podcast and the production. So everybody say thank you and hello. Do I have advice in seeking out new? I think it starts with what you like to do, and then finding people who also like the same thing. I think for me, it's like finding writing groups, or I think there's like a local cafe that I have, and they do free write every Monday. You just show up and you just write. You don't speak to each other, just write for an hour, and then afterwards you mingle. So I think finding what you love and then finding those people in those spaces is probably the easiest way to start. But I also I think just showing up and not saying no. I think people, I do this too, where I'm like, oh, there's this thing that's going on, and then it comes around to that time, and I'm like, I don't want to go anymore, and then I'll just like stay home, or I'll feel anxious or something. And I think some of the most fun that I've had in ways that I've met people, like one of my best friends is showing up to this random like open mic for a bunch of artists, and my best friend who is here right now, I met her through there. So I think it's also the random moments where you like just take a chance or take a risk, and you might feel like shit. You might go and you might be like, that was dumb, wish I didn't come. And then there's other times where it's gonna be amazing, so you kind of just have to go with it. And if you don't like where you're going, you can just go home. So you can just always try to show up, and then if you don't like it, you can. But I think just making yourself as visible as possible, but also going with the intention of trying to fully be yourself. And I know that's like such a hard thing to do. And I think none of us really fully know what that means. But the idea of performing, I think if you go into a space and you try to not perform and just exist, I think that makes it so much easier to find people that like you connect with and that you can love, because then they can love you for who you are. Because I've tried this thing that I'm like still kind of navigating, letting go of like performing, and then people expect that to be you all the time, and then you actually get to know them and then realize, oh, you just think that's me all the time, and it's not. And so it kind of creates this facade form of intimacy, and that's what we're, I guess, trying to avoid. So yeah, I know it's so much easier than said, and I think everybody says be yourself, but truly, maybe like a better word is, if you feel like you're performing, I guess try not to. I think just showing up as you are is the best way to attract people who will love you for you. Yeah, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
I think that's really beautiful, Esma. I almost feel like there's another episode where something around like, how do you, because the intimacy and friendship I find just fascinating when I've been listening to this episode. I wonder if there's something too about how you become vulnerable in a way that you still feel safe, because I think that is also right, of just like, I think I found times too where it's like, confidence for me is actually a utter state of vulnerability. Like it's like there's like true confidence, not that facade. But it'd be fun to do an episode about that vulnerability and friendship, maybe one of those ones. I feel like just listening to everybody's questions, I feel like we need to do another friendship pop-up maybe in March, just where we do a whole Q&A debrief, because it's pretty fascinating topic. Just the conversations I feel we're just at the tip of just at the tip of understanding. And that's my sister. Yes, it is bedtime, but my sister is awesome and she is a rock. And she is a rock. So I'm so lucky that we have her. But I just want to thank everybody for obviously for coming. You know, we have amazing creators on our team. If you are alone and you feel alone, you should just email me. I always have a room for somewhere for you to do something on a team we have. Obviously, we're making a lot of content, and we do really care about people that come in, and Winter's here pumping great stuff in the chat, and Abby and Ashley, and Olivia and Molly is here. Molly, can you wave your hands? She runs the writer's room. Everybody's going to get a great email tomorrow because we have 2 new websites. They're all ready to go. So you'll really see some of our highlighted content. And we're going to be launching a new podcast every month, the next 4 months. What did we decide to do? Next month, we're going to do the pop culture podcast by Zive, which Olivia and Winter and a couple other folks, they're leading. So that'll be exciting. In April, Diana is doing a podcast interviewing teen girls. And in May, we have a podcast by Isabella. It is actually fiction. It's a sci-fi. So definitely the world that we're getting into. So, and even if you have colleagues, friends that are creators, they need a space or they need support, you know, that's my vision of Zive, is a place where we come together and support the voices that we want to share. Esma, is there any final thoughts that are nice things that you would like people to kind of just maybe take away, or maybe a call to action? Like, what should we do right now? Like, obviously my sister was here, so, you know, she is best friend number one. But is there something that we should all go take away right now to somebody that maybe a friend that did fall away, or somebody we haven't talked to in a while? Like, what's our call to action? Give it. I think everybody should have a little bit of homework.
Yes, of course. Because I'm the person to say that. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. It means truly a lot for you guys to come and listen and support. And I think that takeaways can be plenty, but I think the main thing is to a good way that Mara was talking about, being vulnerable, but in a way where you still feel safe. I think that starts with showing your love. And I think maybe we get comfortable sometimes with the people we love, and that over time maybe is, I've noticed in the book, a lot of the reasons why people fall apart, because the love is replaced by misjudgment or misunderstandings. And I think if we're able to show more love and compassion to the people we love, I think it's easier to solve problems that way and to avoid breakups. So if there's just any way to do that, I think especially with how we speak to one another and how we communicate, I think we're a bit more affectionate or understanding or considerate. That really makes all the difference in the world. And then if you want to reach out to an old friend, if this inspires that and you're like, actually, maybe, you know, something can come up again, I think you should just do it. I don't think you should overthink it. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're not going to answer you. And at least you've tried and you've put your efforts in. So it's better than being regretful, but just send a text or a call or whatever. And I hope that works out. Yeah.
That's so good. That's so nice. That's so beautiful. Olivia, thank you for diving in to ask questions. Thank you, Ashley, for writing questions. Winter, thank you for getting the PDF together. It looks so good. Oh, and I totally forgot, but we're having another event next week. Wednesday, February 21st. Everybody will get an email about this tomorrow. We're having a producers panel. 5 of my female colleagues for Black History Month, female African-American producer colleagues of mine who are producing movies. They are just dear kindred spirits, and they're all going to be here at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, but you'll get an email. But again, invite your friends. This is about a network. It's going to be free. I made a decision to do a lot of free stuff right now because I think it's for the greater good. So, and next month in March, we'll have a women directors panel, you know, so pay attention to those emails about your friends. You know, we do have to look out for each other, you know, so if you have a friend that's struggling, say, Zive is doing some cool stuff. You should meet Mara, you should meet Esma, Olivia, Winter, you know, we have to look out for each other because the world is a little wonky. And really it's about creating that type of community. So I'm very findable. We are very findable. So I'm so proud of the team. Winter, like it was about 4 weeks ago, she was like, wait, we were supposed to have a listening party. And I was like, That's right. So we're like, we got it together and we made it happen. So we have a team that makes things happen. So we're just so proud of everybody. And I'm so excited about the next episodes. Like I feel so energized. I want to stay up all night and just like I get these moments where it's like, let's race and like let's get 8 more done. So I'll be circling back with all the team tomorrow. I hope everybody can, do a good thing for yourself, reach out to a friend, look out for each other. We have to take care of yourselves and take care of your work and find somebody. Just find one person that can be your supporter. That would be my great advice. Yay, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause. Happy Valentine's Day. Eat chocolate and call a friend. I think that's what we should do. Eat chocolate and call a friend. And I hope everybody at Zybe is so proud of your work. I am proud of all of you, and we're so blessed. We're so blessed to be able to do this. And we'll send out the replay to everybody. And yeah, I can't wait till the next episodes. We're gonna have to do more about female friendships. And Diana, there you are. I see Diana too. Diana's podcast is going to be coming out in April. So we have a lot of good stuff coming. A lot of good stuff coming. So thank you everybody so much. I'll see you very soon.